Coming to you from the studios at the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66, it's the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.
Rock and roll Chicago, rock and roll Chicago, my hometown. Well, I was born in the city, gonna rock your city, Chicago. Chicago rock and rollers are the best you're ever around.
Hey, everybody, it's Ray the Roadie.
And Hollywood Mike once again.
Once again.
At
least you keep coming back.
Yeah, you can't get me away, Ray.
I know.
We're having a good time here. We're meeting some pretty cool people.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun finding them. That's why we got the private investigators in the studio tonight.
No. There's no private investigators.
No, just privates?
No, instigators.
Instigators.
Yes, the private instigators.
The private instigators.
So if you want to start some crap somewhere, you call them up and on the down low, they instigate it.
You keep using this word down low. I don't think that word means what you think it means.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not.
Let's just talk to these guys.
All righty. Hey, how you guys doing?
I woke up. It's a good day. How are you?
I'm good. So we have Dominic and
Tommy.
Hey,
Here we go.
so to get things started, what kind of music do you do?
Should I start? Okay, he wants me to start.
Go for it.
Well, I guess you could say it's a unique mix of rock and roll and punk rock and a touch of doo-wop. And actually, Tom is quite fond of pop punk.
Yes,
also.
I am. I have a really good background of Blink-182, Sum 41, all those type of bands, and I brought my passion of music from there to Private Instigators, and it seems like it's a good mix. This is a band that I think anybody can enjoy. This is music you can't hate. It's gonna make you dance. It's gonna make you sing, and I don't know. I enjoy it ever since I started. So
Right. Are we talking about original music or?
Yes.
yeah, it's original music.
All original.
And yeah, we have totally different influences, I would think, because he likes the newer stuff and I like the older stuff from before my time. There's usually not anybody I could see, so to say, because everybody I like wasn't around when I'm around.
Okay.
So he likes Sum 41 and Blink-182. I like Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers and the Ramones and the Cramps and the Sex Pistols, and also Richie Valens and Buddy Holly and Chuck Berry and Little Richard. Those are my guys.
Right. Wow, that is quite an eclectic.
Yes, quite a span.
Span of influence. Yeah, absolutely. So what year did you guys start getting into? Well, I guess, Tommy, I'm going to address this first because when you immediately started naming your influences, I started thinking, when I think pop punk, what's the one band that comes to mind, do you think?
I would say Blink-182 for me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But you're a little bit younger than I am. For me, it's Green Day.
Green Day.
When Green Day came out, everybody's mind was kind of blown a little bit because you're it was punk, but it was really pop as well.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, they got a little bit more pop than punk. But I kind of think that they kind of brought that whole genre back again. I'm kind of with you. I listened to a lot of the bands that were coming out of CBGBs, and back in the I was in high school back in the 80s and back in the 90s and the whole bit when all my friends were listening to bands like Queensryche and Guns N' Roses and Poison and all these hair bands and stuff. I was listening to the Dead Boys. Yeah.
We covered one of their songs, actually. We did Sonic Reducer at the last show.
Excellent. For those of you who can't see, he just threw his arms up in the air in victory. That's and I absolutely love the movie that they made about CBGBs as well.
I saw it with Alan Rickman.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And they portrayed the Dead Boys in that movie pretty darn accurately, didn't they? I swear, yeah. I swear to God, I think I was looking at the Dead Boys. It was pretty cool. So yeah, but anyways, so it started with Blink-182 with you, and where to go from there?
To be honest, Blink got me started to play drums. I'm influenced by Travis Barker a lot. But my range is pretty out there. I listened to Avenged Sevenfold, Metallica, Guns N' Roses. I played in jazz band in high school, so I listened to Chuck Berry and Brian Setzer, stuff like that. So my taste is all over. Not really fully into like poppy stuff, but like I have nothing against it. Yeah, like just for drumming wise, like it's been Travis Barker, anything that's fast drum pace for me is what I liked. And it got me into guitar, it got me into singing, and I've been playing drums since I was 10 years old and haven't stopped, and I just love it. So
right. 2 times in my life I got very I was very fortunate and very lucky. I travel, for business I have a day job, and I go to Madison, Wisconsin quite often. And on 2 separate occasions I'm staying at a Holiday Inn that's across from I guess it's their arena or amphitheater, and there's just cars everywhere, and the hotel is sold out, and it's 7:00 at night, and there's traffic. And I went to the person down at the front desk and I said, "What's going on?" They're like, "Sum 41's playing right across the street." And I was like, "Wow, how can I score a ticket?" And she goes, "Well, I happen to have a few." And it was actually the first time I'd ever seen him. Didn't know a whole heck of a lot about him, but the show was pretty fun. And then fast forward about 5 or 6 years later, the same thing happened, and it was Blink 182.
Wow, nice.
Same. Yeah. When you travel for business, you that happens like quite often. Actually, I got to see Rush for free when I was in Minnesota and everything. But 2 times it's happened to me in Madison, Wisconsin for 2 bands that you mentioned. So I thought I'd bring it up. So
yeah.
So you play drums. What do you do?
I play guitar.
Okay.
And I guess you could say I'm the primary songwriter of the originals, but I can't sing. It's really bizarre. It's like I'm like the Greg Ginn in Black Flag, so to say.
Yeah.
So I'll have words out. I've had past members say that I could write a good chorus actually, but when I write with Tom, and if we can't get just the music together within about 15-20 minutes tops, it's not worth pursuing.
Yeah.
At least that's
why
how,
sit around. Yeah.
And I'll sometimes, like if I'm on a good streak, I'll have something worth sharing to him about once a week. And we have a few of those like in the barrel, so to say, that we need to work on. We're always writing, and I like to keep it simple. And sometimes I'll write stuff for I'll have drums that I think that he should do. Like if I was like, all right, do the do the chorus with the floor tom and the snare, and then okay, we're gonna do like a little like every other like measure or something.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, and he likes what we do, and I like having him around. He's the best musician I've ever come across.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So what comes first? Does the music come first, or the lyrics come first?
Music. And I mean, I mentioned what I liked earlier as my favorites, but I listen to so much different stuff. So like when I was listening to a Nirvana interview years ago, they were asked the same question: what comes first, words or music? And they said the same thing. They said music. And I tried, before I heard that interview, I tried to do like both at the same time. And I was like, you know what? I could put these 4 chords in order, and then we could figure out what's going to work. And then, so in a weird way, Nirvana is also an influence to me, even if it's not musically. It's their work ethic. Right.
I think writers all have their own little, quirks and styles in the whole, but I can't write a song without coming up with both at the same time. I just can't do it. I have to have a melody in order to know what my rhyme scheme is going to be when I'm coming up with the words. So I've got to work on it all together. And it's actually irritating because I'll sit down and I'll write like 3 or 4 words out, know how that's going to go. And I got to pick up the guitar, and now I got to put the guitar down. I do a lot of this right here when I'm writing, going back and forth from guitar and pencil and paper and whatever, but whatever works, however it gets flowing. So that's pretty cool. So who are the other members of the band? If you're not singing and you're not singing, we got other guys in the band or no?
Not at the moment. We did 2 weeks ago, and then we played a really big show actually in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We played Launch Fest. It was oh wow, a show that our attorney asked us to play. He's been asking for a while, and then we finally got it. And one of the members wasn't able to do it, so we had somebody fill in, and that was great. He was playing bass, and then the singer came and everything too, and then they both decided that there was more work than they could handle, and that's, I guess, the most polite way I could phrase it, to be honest. And that's the truth too.
Yeah.
So the way I see it though is like, as long as Tom's with me, that there's nothing I need to be concerned about. It's not like they took the sound with them.
Right.
And I was showing them how to play what we wrote anyway. So the only thing that's concerning is that, we can't perform live at the moment, but we will find other people. And we actually just made a video last week, like stating that, and I just got it today.
Oh, wow.
So even though we're doing this interview, we got a video coming out. This is all like within, I woke up to your email. I woke up to the video. So we're still actively writing and putting content out there.
Right.
So yeah, we can't play live at the moment, but we have somebody that would be willing to play for us. But I don't want someone to be around just to be around for a couple shows. We want someone that's not afraid to come with us to New York City, come with us to Los Angeles. Not so many are just tied into their jobs and everything, and that's fine. We understand we have bills to pay, but I do odd jobs where I can actually go without a repercussion.
Right.
So
the goal is to get discovered. The goal is to do this for a living, right?
That's what we want to do. And we have played out before, and like me and Tom, we played New York City before in another band that it's a cover band, but but he's willing to go out and do it, and we'll take that risk and we'll try it as long as we still get our bills paid or we play catch up. It's like, all right, well, we still made the attempt.
Okay.
Versus like, well, I'm at home, my bills are paid, everything's fine, but what if I went to Pennsylvania? What if we went to South by Southwest? What would have happened? Well, I'll take the risk and Tom will take the risk. And it's like, all right, let's see what we can do.
Well, how old are you guys?
I just turned 29. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I'll say it. I'm 37.
Ooh. I have underwear older than both of them.
But
two. So any responsibilities, wives, kids, anything like that? Girlfriends, nagging mothers, anything like that? No.
Well, I have a past relationship that I'm still dealing with. I guess that's the most polite way to put it. And I'm an only child, and my dad's deceased, but my mom's still around. But I don't talk to my mom at all. Not since my dad died. I haven't spoken to my mom in 7 years.
Right. So not to blow over that. I'm sorry to hear that, but
Not your fault.
But I swear I wasn't there.
It's okay.
But
I can vouch for that.
Yeah. And if I was, I would have been late. That's all there is to it. So let's face it. The only thing holding the two of you back from saying, hey, I'm going to go and play South by Southwest, or I'm going to go to New York, or I'm going to go to LA, or wherever it is fear. Really? That's the only thing holding you guys back. And if you don't really have the fear of that, it's like, hell, let's load up the truck and go over wherever the heck we need to go. And the two people that you had playing with you before, they weren't into that. It was too much work. I've never heard anybody say this is too much work.
I got a phone call like 2 days after we played, and the singer actually said, yeah, this isn't fun anymore.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was like a 20-second phone call, and I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, because it's like after the show, we're packing up and want to sell merch. I want to shake hands. I want to meet people, and
we want to do what we need to do to make it.
Right.
And this is our 9 to 5.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other two didn't put in the same effort.
Right.
I mean, it's as simple as that. And I guess everyone's different. Some are more social than others. And, even though they were great performers, I'm not going to take that away from them. They're great performers. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you got to have the social aspect too. Yeah. I could barely remember the 3 chords, but I'm not afraid to come up to somebody and say, hey, here's my band. And by the way, I don't like Fall Out Boy. I like Ricky Nelson. Like,
right.
Wait, how do you know who Ricky Nelson is?
Yeah.
Like, Poor Little Fool is the first song that ever made me cry. So It's like, that's my thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, and it takes more than personality. So what is it, the things that you guys are doing to advance your careers, to make this happen for yourselves? It's like, it always amazes me, like when I hear people say, oh yeah, we just came back from New York. We just did about 12 gigs in New York. So how the hell did you get a gig in New York? You're in Chicago. It's I guess it's different if you're an original band trying to be discovered. Mm-hmm. But I hear, local cover bands say, yeah, we were just in New York for 3 weeks and we did this. How the hell did that happen for you? Who you contacting? Who you working with?
Oh, this guy right here has the most connections I've ever met out of anybody. And like, it's just ridiculous. He just drops a Ramon name and like a Misfit name. I'm like, what? Whoa. How do you know this guy? He's like, oh yeah, I Ubered him to the concert. I'm like, what? Okay. So
Yeah,
he's got some good connections here.
I mean, I wasn't responsible for the New York show happening. That was another member in the cover band that we're in. But I mean, it's to me as simple as just contacting a venue. I mean, I've always done it where I'd say the date that we want and what type of music that we are. Is this available? And then they ask, of course, what's your poll? And of course, they want to make money too, but we also don't want to be out money ourselves because of expenses.
Right.
So, I mean, to me, it's always just been about going out there and putting yourself out there. And one thing I used to do, I don't do anymore. He remembers this. My hair used to be green, and I had it green for 6 years. And so that was, I'm kind of giving one of my tricks here, but that was how I stood out. So when I would meet somebody and like I got their business cards or contact or email, subject line, green hair, House of Blues. They'll remember. So like, how do you get remembered? That's how I was remembered, by having the green hair. And it was easy to spot me at concerts too. So, or junkyards, wherever I am. It's like, oh, where are you? Can you just jump around for a second? Oh, there you are. I see the green head.
Yeah, right. So it was just pretty much a simple matter of let's look for some places, some venues in other cities, and let's contact them and do the same thing that we would do if it's in the Chicago area. We're just going to go out and we're going to play wherever they're willing to have us. And I mean, do they ask where you're from? Do they want to know if you're local? Because I know they're going to ask what your draw is. Mm-hmm. But how are they when they find out that you're from Chicago when you're going to go to New York and
Well, they actually ask, the first question is, for New York, for example, have you played New York before?
Oh, okay.
Or wherever the city is, have you played Nashville before? What was your draw last time?
Right.
Or if I said, well, we played once before and we played for who the locals brought in, but we're going to be on this podcast that's affiliated with music in Nashville. And we want to put that out there 2 weeks before we show up. And that would be the next approach to touring, because that an on again, off again friend of mine suggested that. It's like, reach out to people with podcasts and everything, which is what I'm doing here, even though we don't have any show to promote right now, but we do have new music coming out. Okay. And we do have quite a bit to discuss, actually, because we are going to be recording and possibly going to Nashville to record with a pop punk legend. And I'm looking forward to Waffle House too. So, so there's always something to do.
You in the Waffle House, man.
Have you guys worked with any record companies or contacted them, or have they contacted you?
We played for one in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, actually, that our attorney asked us to play for. And they were not interested at the moment. But at the same time, Tom and I are always on the same page with whatever the latest stress is that, in a weird way, I feel like we'd never caused. Like a week after two of the guys left, the record label said, we like you, but not right now, but here's our publicity company you could talk to. I was like, Tom, it was a good thing that they didn't want us right now, because, if they said we need you guys to be out here, this weekend and put on a showcase, like, great. Now we have no one. We got 2 jack stands holding the vehicle up right now. How are we going to get anywhere? So I was like, this is a pleasant letdown, so to say.
Yeah. Right. When you guys did play live, how often were you playing, and what were some of the places you were playing around here?
It was probably every other weekend we had some kind of show. We played Liars Club in Chicago. Well, I mean, we played the Forge over here in Joliet.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
It's just we play wherever we get asked to play, and we're gonna put on a show for anybody out there, anybody that enjoys this kind of music. We're gonna show you what we can do, and that's what we do. Just have fun.
All original, no covers.
We do throw a few covers in there, but It's mainly originals. Yeah, we'll throw in 2 per set. So do you have
so you have enough music to play an entire night, or are you doing more opening type things, or 2-hour sets, or?
I'd say we have enough material to play for maybe hour and a half with our stuff mainly, and then we can just add in covers. So
Yeah, me and him know. How many covers do we know? I mean, it's probably a low number compared to a cover band, but we probably know, let's be realistic, probably 80.
yeah, that's where I think that was the last count we had.
Yeah, 80, and most of them are like older
Ramones
songs
and Misfits.
Yeah, we know
stuff that.
we know all the Ramones, all the Misfits songs.
Right.
You know, like even like ones you didn't hear live, like I Don't Want to Go Down to the Basement.
Right.
Like too often we would do that one, and oh boy. Now I want to go back real fast to what you said about Green Day. That was actually one of the bands that got me interested in music originally.
Sure.
But I didn't like much else because like in grade school, I was trying to be cool because I was, only child and a bit of an outcast, still am. And I was like, all right, what's everyone listening to? And then I turned on the rock station. I turned off Oldies 104.3.
Right.
And I still miss Oldies 104.3. I mean, the forgotten oldie at 10 o'clock at night, Dick Biondi, like playing the coasters, like that's my stuff.
Yeah.
But so I was like, all right, what's happening? And then I was like, okay, there's Green Day, there's Pearl Jam. And I really didn't like anything except for Green Day. And then I was like, okay, started reading. I'm alone. I got time to read. So who influenced Green Day? Okay, Stiff Little Fingers, the Sex Pistols, the Ramones. Who are these people?
Right.
And then I'd read and I was like, wow, I like this more than who's playing Lollapalooza right now. And so I was like, great. I didn't want to, but I kind of became an old schooler. So I was like, okay, who influenced Stiff Little Fingers? Chuck Berry. And then like, what else? Oh, they like the Sonics. The Sonics they sound more like Little Richard than Little Richard does.
Right.
So, and then like, who influenced Chuck Berry? Okay, let's go back to Hank Williams Sr.
Just keep going. Yeah. Keep going
I kept going backwards instead of with the times, but I would still pay attention to the times, pay attention to top 40. And there's still songs I like, about like 2 songs a year are hits that I actually like.
Right.
Like I know it's 2 or 3 years old, but Save Your Tears for Another Day. I actually like that. That's an awesome little bass line to listen to. And there was something else I heard. I don't remember what, but I remember one time I was working a show with Megan Trainor and I loved it. I was like, when, and it was like before Dear Future Husband was a single. And I was like, I can hear this little 1-6-4-5 doo-wop chord structure. And I was so happy about that. But I'd be much happier if I could ever see Hank Williams or Richie Valens.
Yeah, we would all like to be able to see Hank Williams again. So wait a minute, you were working a show with Megan Trainor.
Yeah, I used to work at House of Blues.
Oh, okay.
In production for 6 years.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
okay.
I think that was another reason they hired me was because I was like, I'm not going to be starstruck. There's like nobody here. That's going to pass through that I care about.
Right.
Well, there was an exception because like Suicidal Tendencies came through.
Yep.
Loved the first album. Then there was a private event with Brian Wilson. Oh, and it was kind of hard for me to just, keep it together.
Yeah.
But I did get to say hello to him. And I said, thanks for making the best car songs ever.
Oh, wow.
To cruise to. Cause like listening to I Get Around, I was blasting that like last week.
Oh, wow.
I still would do that.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And people love that. They really do. When were you at House of Blues?
I believe it's hard for me to remember years, but I think 2014 to 2019.
2014 to
2019. Actually, no, I take that back. 2013, because I was going through some shirts I don't wear anymore, and I had a DRI tour shirt that I know I got from there because when DRI toured with Suicidal Tendencies, I got a shirt from DRI.
Right.
And it said 2013 on the back, so I can confirm I was there in 2013.
You were there during the years where I played House of Blues twice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we've seen each other
We've
before.
probably seen each other. I mean, on the main stage, not the restaurant stage. Right. Yeah. I was in a band back in that time period called Forget Hannah. And the first time we played it was we weren't hired by the House of Blues. There was a huge convention in town, heating and air conditioning and ventilation convention and stuff like that. We were hired by one of the largest companies. It was like the Train company or something like that, to play their party. And they rented out.
They would have hired Train.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, they weren't going to get trained for $1,000 though.
No,
that wasn't going to happen. But no, it was. There were so many people in this company that they rented out the entire main auditorium there at House of Blues, and it was a lot of fun. And then the second time, we actually got, they hired us to actually play a concert at the House of Blues, and I was like, really? Us?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. One of my favorite places to play. They actually treat you like rock stars at that place. They really do.
We do our best.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great. I pulled up, guys unloaded my car, threw it all on an elevator and brought it all up and set it up. I'm sitting eating in like a green room and stuff. We had our own bathroom and shower. And
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, we could have spent the night there if we wanted and just, went home in the morning if we wanted to. Didn't have to lift a finger.
Nice.
It was great.
I might have done that because I was in production. I did that. I would unload cars and help set up gear and everything. And
I thought that was you. No.
I might have had the green hair, so you might have actually seen me at one point.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Wow.
Yeah, no kidding. Small world.
Yeah.
We find that out every single week when we do this podcast. We find out what a small world it is. There is always somebody that ends up sitting at this table that knows either myself or knows Ray through, like 7,
Yep.
what is it? The 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon,
Yeah.
or whatever. So tell us a little bit more about the writing style, not necessarily your influences or anything like that, but I'm just like, how do you find a way with the two influences, with the amount of influences that you guys have, how do you create some type of continuity so that no matter what it is that you're writing, it always sounds like you guys?
I think it usually starts with Dom here. Like he writes a nice guitar line for me. I put in my drum work of my background and be like, yeah, I can fit this in. It'll sound pretty damn cool.
15-inch rims, Michelin tires, 350 small block that never gets tired, 2 bucket seats and a power rear window, 300 horsepower takes me where I wanna go. A heavy Chevy driving down the street. Heavy Chevy, shiny and clean. A heavy Chevy, so pristine. A heavy Chevy, go!
He's got the rock and roll style. I got the pop punk style. Mix it together. It sounds great. I'm like, let's keep it going. And then I don't know. It's just, it works out that way. It's just me and him always get this on the right track. So
I mean, I could tell you real fast, I guess, how I write or whatever. And it comes down to actually just listening to a bunch of different types of music all the time because I drive a lot and I'm not just stuck listening to 50s on 5 on Sirius XM. That's like my favorite station.
Right,
but, or the punk rock station, I'll listen to even stuff I don't like or like I won't like at first just to get a melody, get a chord progression in my head. So even if it's like subconsciously there and even if I don't like it, maybe it'll come out in a way or an influence of it will come out on my fingers or on the pen or whatever. And usually I could not sit and just be like, all right, I'm going to write something today. It's like, it's always, the best time is always kind of the worst time. But by that, like I'm sleep deprived. I've been up for like 20 hours. Something is obviously stressing me out, keeping me awake. And then this happens like half the time. I'll be almost asleep. And then like, I have to get up. Something's in my head. I got to write this down like right now. And one time I actually dreamed of a song and I recorded it as soon as I woke up before I forgot. And I sent it to Tom and it was only like,
I got it at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah. It was only like 56 seconds, but it's like, all right, let's get going on this. And it was so bizarre. That one, I didn't even move my teeth when I was singing. It was so bizarre, but
wow.
I thought I was watching Hole and I'd never seen the band Hole. It was like, if Hole did a ballad, I was like, this is how it would sound. And then I just had it out and I was like, all right, I got to send it to Tom before it gets away.
Yeah.
So that's another one we could work on. We have like probably about half a dozen we can work on. And we have probably about half an album that's ready to go, to be honest with you.
Do you have any albums out currently or are you still working on that?
We do.
Yeah.
We do called The Case Files of the Private Instigators, and that's been out for a little while. There is one cover on it. There is a Billy Joel cover of It's Still Rock and Roll to Me.
Right.
And I'm not a big Billy Joel fan, but my best friend said every time I heard that song, he thought of me. And he's like, yeah, because it's like, I'll hear this, I'll hear that. I was like, sorry, Chuck Berry's always going to be rock and roll. I don't care about anything post 1962.
Right.
Yeah, Ray knows what I'm talking about. And then I've had the same car for a number of years. So it's like, oh, my car's out of style. And it's like, yeah, I've had the car long enough where now it has an antique registration. Wow. So yeah, it's like, I guess that's my song.
Sure.
I like other songs more, but I can identify with those lyrics.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Billy Joel is actually probably my favorite all time.
Really?
Yeah, he is. The only formal music lessons I ever took were organ lessons. And it was really, really strange. You know, who takes organ lessons? Have you ever heard anybody's, most people learn how to play a keyboard by playing a piano. No, I learned how to play keyboards by playing an organ, double-decker organ, wooden foot pedals, the whole bit. And I still have it. And when I got tired of that, because it just, it seemed nerdy, so let's just go out and get a piano. Right. Yeah. So I buy an electric piano, and it's like, okay, now how do I do this? Because, playing the organ is slightly different than playing the piano. It's more holding the chords down with your left hand than playing bass lines. Right. And so what did I do? I went out and I bought the Billy Joel Anthology songbook and just learned how to play it cover to cover. Not extremely well, but there's a lot of things that you learn because he's a fantastic piano player. But yeah, I've seen Billy Joel in concert about 10 times.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I think the first time I saw him, I was about 14 years old. It was the album The Bridge was the big one that was out.
Have you heard his heavy metal material?
Oh yeah. Attila. Yeah, that was the name of the band, Attila.
1970.
Yeah, people have no idea that Billy Joel was a heavy metal organist.
I knew. Now, I'm sorry, I got to throw this out there since you're a Billy Joel fan. Yeah. What was because sorry, I'm kind of whatever with trivia, but do you know what the first hit song was that he recorded on? You probably do.
That he recorded on.
Yes.
But it wasn't necessarily his song.
Correct.
No, this question
I don't know.
$50.
Yeah.
Cool. I can get some gas money.
Yeah. That I honestly don't know. No.
He was the session player for the Shangri-Las on the song Leader of the Pack.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. It's cool.
Wow.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
You learn something new every day.
That wasn't out there. I actually read that in a book. There was like a book I read that had a bunch of like rock and roll trivia about stuff like that, and even stuff by like Gary U.S. Bonds. And I love all.
So I'm sure you've seen the movie The Wrecking Crew.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Of course. And Cadillac Records a number of times. And I actually got to see some of the rock and roll pioneers before they couldn't play anymore. I mean, my definition. I saw Bo Diddley on his last concert. Yep. Saw Chuck Berry and Jerry Lee Lewis at Riot Fest.
Oh, wow. So Jerry Lee Lewis at Riot Fest.
Yeah, that was something.
I remember that year. Everybody was like, Jerry Lee Lewis. Yeah. And then, and probably had the biggest crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was really interesting seeing like 12,000 people mosh to a whole lot of shaking going on.
Yeah. Well, he kind of was like the first bad boy of rock and roll. He really was.
I'm Christy from Crime Cave Podcast. I've had a huge interest in true crime since my days of watching marathons of Snapped back in the mid-90s. I needed an outlet to talk about the cases that have haunted me for a very long time. With each episode under 20 minutes, I shine a light on some of the most bizarre cases in the last 50 years. Join me in the Crime Cave.
When you guys first got here, we were just kind of chit-chatting. You mentioned something. You had a story about Buddy Guy.
Oh, gosh.
Uh-oh.
Get him started on that.
All right. So,
is this an embarrassing story?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not afraid to tell it. Guys, we're really going away from the band, but that's okay. I'll tell you about. That's what she said. So there. Actually, this kind of goes to how I first made musical connections. So there's an event that was called Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, and it still exists. Oh, yeah. Yep. And you guys sound pretty familiar with it. Well, the CEO called me up one day and said, I'm going to be doing a camp in Chicago. Who do you recommend? And who's out there? And I said, well, I don't really completely know, but I could give you some suggestions. And Rick Nielsen came up because I don't know him, but I know Rockford's not far from Chicago. And I was like, I know Buddy Guy has a place. And I suggested, it's like, all right, maybe Buddy Guy's would be a good place to have a headlining show. Reggie's would be a good place too. We could do rehearsal at Chicago Music Garage or Fort Knox Studios. I threw all these ideas out there, and they picked Buddy Guy as the headliner. and everyone got to jam with him at Buddy Guys Legends afterwards. And I found out like how much, you know, he got a good amount of money to do it. And I guess it seemed like the staff kind of didn't like know who to reach out to for Chicago. And I suggested him. And then so I met him afterwards and I said, buddy, I was the one that suggested that you be a part of this, you know, and so thanks for being around. And he didn't say thank you to me. I was like, okay, I just scored you $25,000 and you didn't even say thank you. He's probably more or am I going to buy a t-shirt on the way out? So that kind of rubbed me, I guess, the wrong way. It's like, you know, I'd like to say thank you to everybody personally. Like, even like if someone's serving me food, you know, thanks, I'm good, you know, but I don't know, manners kind of hold a lot of weight with me. And if someone is impolite to me, I don't know, maybe it's a Sicilian in me or something that it's like, you know, you're being disrespectful or something, or I don't know, I think it should be mirrored. Right. You know, please and thank you. Right. Simple as that. So that's my buddy guy story.
Well, you told your buddy guy story, and I will totally. I'm going to make fun of myself here. So oh, good. I play guitar because of buddy guy. There's bar none. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I first started playing guitar, I bought a black and white guitar, and I wanted to put stickers on it to make it look like it was polka dotted and everything. And the first amp that I owned was a 59 Bassman, because that's what Buddy Guy plays through. And the first time I ever saw anybody just make a guitar scream the way he did, I mean, I saw him for the first time at the Milwaukee County Festival. Probably about 25 years ago or so. This was the Jerry curl Buddy Guy, back when he still had Jerry curls and wore overalls and the whole bit. And I had the opportunity to meet him on several occasions. And every time I met him, I just fumbled over my words like I was a little schoolgirl. I had no idea what I was going to say to this guy. I was so nervous. I was so shaking. And there was actually one time where I went to Legends and he's sitting at the corner of his bar, and I walked up to him and I said, I've rehearsed what I would say to you, 1,000 times, but all I can think to do right now is genuflect. And he looked at me like I was the weirdest person in the world. And every time I'd seen him after that, I would try to redeem myself, because I know he remembers me, because he's like, oh, here comes this creepy motherfucker again. Whatever he's gonna do. And finally, the last time that I met him, I bought a copy of his book and I asked him to sign it. And he actually said, oh yeah, I remember you. And all he was doing was he was opening up the book and he was just kind of scribbling his name, and he would sign his name and it would cover the entire first page of the book. But I noticed he took a little bit longer to sign my book. Huh. So he actually wrote a little note, and it was said, "It's always good to see you. Keep working at it. Your friend, Buddy." Awesome. And I was like, okay, so I finally nice. Made it through. And I had the opportunity to meet him because a friend of mine that I've known since about 5th grade or so is actually one of the guys that works sound at his club. And so I've got to meet him personally and the whole bit. And it's that's my buddy guy story.
So Tom, any embarrassing stories? Any famous people you've got to hang with? Or?
Oh, no. I have kept my composure.
I thought we were all, letting it all out tonight.
No, but guys, you made the comment about how we're getting far away from the band. Just talking about the band on the podcast is not necessarily what this podcast is. We've had bands in here where we've talked, where all we did was do this and talk about this. And it's the people, it's the bands that we've had in where people get to know who you are personally. Mm-hmm. Those are the bands that have reported a spike in bookings, and more people are coming out to see them in the whole bit, because now they feel like they know a part of you. It's not just, they don't just know your music, they know who you guys are. And I think it's going to help out a lot.
Known my lady for a little while. She knows I'm a real wild child. She'll touch me, she'll kiss me in the car. When we get home, it almost goes too far. She wanna rock and roll, she wanna rock and roll tonight. She wanna rock and roll, she wanna rock and roll tonight. You're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I have no idea what my credit score is, and we need a singer and a bass player.
Yeah. No, hey, absolutely.
Well, if somebody listening wants to contact you, how can they contact you?
Well, they could definitely find us through our social media on Facebook, Private Instigators. Instagram is P Instigators, actually. And we have a website, privateinstigators.com. But yeah, we want to be playing out more. And I would love to share more stories with you guys if you want to hear more. I mean, because with the House of Blues and the people I've met, and I would love to someday be able to get Tom to meet somebody that he would like to meet, he sent me a picture of Travis with Travis Barker with a buddy that I know, and I was like, I want you to meet Travis. So I was like, I don't like Blink-182 anywhere near as he does, but I know how much that would mean to Tom. And I
just saw these guys last night. So
yeah. You know what I will encourage you to do? Where do you guys live? Where are you coming from?
I am in Rockford these days, but but I'm from Chicago.
Gotcha.
I've been there, Chicago, up until 3 years ago.
Gotcha. And
Yeah. I live in Chicago in Bucktown.
Okay. Yeah. You're definitely far away, but one of the great things about this area, I mean, Joliet is just a musical town. I mean, you go all the way back, going back to the movie about the Blues Brothers, it's, Chicago and Joliet and the whole bit. But this whole area around here, has fantastic open jam nights. And I have seen bands form on stage at open jams here. There's a fantastic band that we've interviewed on this podcast called Don't Matter to Me. Group of young kids. They started off as a band. It kind of broke up because some of the members, one guy went to the army, a couple of guys had to go away to college because they all met in high school, but they started going to local jams, found other, musicians to play with. And here we are about a year and a half later after the reformation of that band, and they're opening up for Train at the festival here in Joliet this year.
Wow.
I mean, we see this happen on a weekly basis. If there's ever an opportunity that you guys have to come and hang out at some of these jams here, and I'm not saying anything against the jams that go on the north side and in Chicago and places like that. I've been to those, and I'm sure there's the same experiences there. When I'm saying it here is that I've been asked not to name names, but I've been sitting at open jams, and I've watched a Grammy award-winning metal guitarist walk in off the street and just want to hang out and play some blues with people. And I mean, that's the way some of these jams are here. So I would encourage you to come and check out some of this stuff, and you'll find the people that you're looking for in no time. So
I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
We should go out.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
And we'll make the time. And, on real fast, I mean, since we're really close to where the Blues Brothers was filmed.
Yeah,
part of
absolutely.
it,
Yeah.
I'm going to see if you guys know this. Who was the first to dance on the table towards the end of the movie?
Who was the first to dance on the table toward the end of the movie?
Right before the ending credits, when they're playing Jailhouse Rock, somebody stands up and starts dancing, then everyone starts dancing.
I don't remember. I don't know. It's been probably 20 years since I've seen that.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too. I'm picturing it, but
yeah,
I want to say John Belushi, but I don't think so.
He was on stage.
Right.
I have no idea.
Was it Aretha Franklin?
No, she wasn't locked up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was Joe Walsh.
Oh, that's right. He was in the band.
Yeah.
That's right. He was in the band. I forgot about that. I need to watch that movie again.
Yeah.
And John Belushi actually played drums with the Dead Boys for one song. There's footage of it out there when somebody had a medical emergency. I can't remember who, but
Right.
But yeah, he played drums for Sonic Reducer at CBGB's.
Wow.
And
Wow.
the camera angle's not that great because the cymbal or something's in the way. But towards the end, you could see it, but you could definitely pick out that nose.
Yeah,
you
right,
know that
right.
nose behind the cymbal.
Yeah. No kidding.
And the equipment back then wasn't the way it is nowadays.
Yeah. Right. You guys are really close, just about 3/4 of a mile or so, maybe a mile away from the opening scene of the Blues Brothers, where they let Jake out of the jail.
Yeah, the prison.
It's literally right there. there's the vacant lot where the car was parked, and then the gate that opens up and and John Belushi comes walking out. It's literally a mile away from where we are right now.
Right.
And it looks exactly the same way.
I drove by it on the way here.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and I was on Bluetooth. I was on a phone call, and then I was like, "Oh, wait a second, this is cool."
is it.
It's like we got to get a photo session here.
That's pretty cool.
Very cool. Well, thanks a lot for coming out, guys. It was a lot of fun having you here, learning about you. Good luck with your future endeavors. Hope you guys find somebody. You said you had an album, CD or something.
Yes.
Where can people pick that up?
Well, they can definitely stream it on Bandcamp. Come see us at the show, and we'll sign it for you. And we'll have a future release too. We actually have another one. I got to talk about this briefly.
Sure, go right ahead.
We did a split EP with another band called Half Knocked Out in Ohio, where there's 5 of their songs and 5 of our songs.
All right.
And so that should be up soon. We do have you can purchase it at our show, but like having a CD in tangible format, that's gonna be something new. So there's 4 originals on there and 1 cover. Tom actually sings one of the covers. He actually sings a Ramon song. We did a Commando.
Okay.
So so that's out there, and so we're still releasing everything, still making videos, and still going to be recording new material very soon.
All right.
Yep. And our full album right now is on Spotify and Apple Music. You can find it on YouTube as well. Just give it a listen. I guarantee you won't be disappointed with it. It's really fun.
No, sounds good. We'll have to check it out.
Definitely. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So there you have it, the Private Instigators.
The Private Instigators.
Trying to instigate something, but ran into a little difficulty.
I hope they find a couple of people for their band because they really seem driven.
Yeah, big time driven.
Absolutely. They want to make this happen for themselves.
Yeah.
And
it seemed to be going somewhere. And But you know what? Like we talked about, everybody's got their own personality. They got their own responsibilities. Some people just can't do it. Look at the JC from Styx.
Yeah,
when Styx hit it big, he said, "I can't do this.
I'm done. Yeah, I can't do it.
I can't be on the road." And he left, and that's when Tommy Shaw came in.
Right.
For those of you that are out there, you do realize that JY is the only original member in the band, with the exception of Chuck Panazzo when he pops in once in a while. But out of everybody else in the band, it's just JY. Tommy Shaw is not an original.
That's right. No, he isn't. That's true. Amazing.
So, well, hopefully these guys will find a couple more originals, and they'll be on the road in no time. Sounds like they got some great music out there. We got to go check it out on Spotify and all that. And that should do it for this week. Thanks again for listening, and we'll be back with another exciting new podcast next Tuesday.
See you later.
Bye.
The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast is edited by Paul Martin. Theme song courtesy of M&R Rush. The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast does not own the rights to any of the music heard on the show. The music is used to promote the guests that are featured.
Rock and roll Chicago. Rock and